Industry, Honorable Katie Hammond. You're welcome to Eyewitness News, sir.
Wait.
Honorable Katie Hammond, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, Alaji, how are you?
I'm all right. You?
I'm doing well. The big ticket item from your proposal is a Yemadia, very, very popular. I love it with my okra stew. I hear that you are planning to ban that, but I know it's just one of many other items. Give us, first of all, the idea behind this LI. What are you seeking to do as a ministry and, for that matter, government?
Yes. You recall that at the time of my vetting to this position, I did indicate that I didn't like the figures I was received from items on the country's import bill in terms of actual money. To 2021, the import bill was over 10 billion for the top, I think, 50 or so. No, I mean, the total import bill was about $10 billion. The 2022 one was about another 11 billion. So we keep on spending so much of our foreign reserves on the importation of these items, some of which, I mean, reasonably, we can handle at home. The decision is to the basis of rationale is twofold. One is simply to make sure there is some sanity in the amount of money that is expended, is used. The import bill is sanitized. I mean, how much of our resources? I mean, money is scarce in the system, but to spend so much money on the importation of these items, I think stresses the government coffers. And of course, the second one is also this, that, we're taking some time, along with our friends in the Ministry of Agri, to make sure that we are growing quite a lot of our food items. We're trying to industrialize, we're trying to expand the economy, we're trying to develop it. But we cannot develop solely on the basis of importation. There must be a conscious effort to encourage homegrown products. And the typical example really is rice and we had that, but let's concentrate on rice for a moment. We had a stakeholder meeting, and the suggestion was that the installed capacity with a little ramping up would be about enough in the next couple of years to provide all that we consume in the country. So let's concentrate some energy on making sure that we are able to help our farmers to grow on the large scale. You talked only about rice. We have poultry. We've got to be careful that we don't kill the poultry industry. We don't kill it off. Yamadia, intestine, all those things that you're talking about. Would you be surprised to hear that on the Yamadia front alone, we spent about over 200 million United States dollars to import this particular item into the country. So I'm asking why is that? Can we not sanitize it? So this really these two reasons are why we think that some form of LI is important to sanitize the system.
Now, when you say sanitize, are you banning or regulating the import? What is a LI seeking to do?
I'm happy. I think there's a certain amount of misinformation out there. Maybe also because we really haven't gone out there after the countrywide consultation process. We haven't really gone out there to tell the public. So we are not banning. We're not banning. There are national laws that restrict us from doing those things. So we're not banning. So good people of Ghana, the traders, everybody can take confidence. We're not banning. We have to say, no, we are monitoring. We want the system to keep an eye on what is it that is being imported. why do we want to import these items at a particular time? Is there anything that we can do here at home to make sure that there's sufficiency of that particular product? I mean, those on the list, about 25 or 24 on the list. Is there anything that we can do about it? There's a worry about this particular time. I think everybody has in mind at Christmas. But this law wouldn't even kick in for Christmas. By its nature, when you put an LI in age before Parliament, it takes 21 days to mature. And so by 21 days, all that traders want to import, even though that's what we are now seeking to regulate, this time they're under no compulsion to do anything. They can import. So by the time of Christmas, all these items, by the time when the SLI kicks in, they would have imported everything. So I'm not anxious that it's going to lead to restrictions or shortage of anything going into Christmas. Hopefully, it will kick in the next year, coming year 2024. But even that, as I said, it's not a ban. You supply a very beautiful word. We'll just be monitoring and make sure that there's not a saturation of the items in the country.
So we are not using the word ban. What other word can we use to refer to what you are planning to do? Because monitoring sounds very vague to me. What does monitoring mean?
I've thanked you for supplying me with that. It's simply, there's going to be a committee. Bank of Ghana is going to sit on the committee because the whole basis, what the prime basis for the LI that put all the idea behind this whole thing is to conserve our foreign exchange reserves. So it's how much of the money can the Bank of Ghana afford? Can the economy afford? So we're not banning, but we require some sort of assurance that there's a need for this particular item to be imported into the country.
Okay.
So that's about it. But definitely nothing like banning, wholesale ban on A, B, C, D, or whatever. But we would monitor. I'd like to.
I think I will still need some clarity on what you really are seeking to do. But for purpose of my listeners who may not be aware what items we are listing, if you could just indulge me, I want to just list them. So you have rice, guts or bladders and stomach of animals. That's number 2, as captured in your schedule. We have poultry, animal and vegetable oil, margarine, fruit juices, soft drink, mineral water, noodles and pasta, ceramic tiles, corrugated paper and paper board, mosquito coil and insecticides, soaps and detergents, motor cars, iron and steel, cement, polymers, which is plastic and plastic product, fish, sugar, clothing and apparel, biscuits, canned tomatoes. A total of 22 items that you have here on this list.
It's slightly amended. What I met with the subsidiary committee of Parliament, the list was slightly amended. So 1 or 2 might be added. Maybe 1 or 2, yeah. One
okay.
Or 2,
now, if I were a private businessman and my duties or what I do is go to Vietnam and bring in rice, and I see that you have rice as number 1 on the list, what are you saying would happen from 2024 if this your allies succeeds? What do I have to do? I can't go and bring rice anymore?
No, you can't. No, you appear before you apply to the committee and then explain that you want to bring in this much quantity. The committee might then want to understand the amount of money involved. And then thereafter, because Agri Ministry and everybody is on board, the committee will then want to ascertain how much quantity is it that the country can afford. What is the shortage between the gap between locally produced rice and then the consumption? And then depending on that, you'll be allowed to import.
But if I'm a private business person and I've been doing this for decades and I bring in the staff to come and sell and I'm going to use my own money, what is government's business in there? I'm not going to use your money.
That's the issue. You say your own money. Nobody has dollars or pounds in this country. We all use it. So when you say you have your own money, you would then want somebody in Vietnam. I'm not sure the currency of legal tender is this. So you see that's the call on our reserves.
So it means government wants to restrict how much dollars I can buy to go and buy products abroad?
That's what I said. That's why I predicated all these comments with how much the import bill of the country has been over the past.
So all of this is targeted at helping the city.
To help the economy, conserve some money.
Okay, but you see, another point that has to be considered, you have a Commander sugar factory that is a white elephant sitting somewhere in the central region, which is under your ministry. You have sugarcane at Asuchari and all these places. We do not have enough sugar. So there is demand for sugar. That is why people go abroad to bring it. There's demand for all these things. And sadly, even Yamadia, there's demand for it and we cannot meet that locally. If you come before the committee and say to the committee, you want to import this, and the committee says no, people would become hungry. How do you satisfy the needs of people if you have not set up, for instance, the one about vehicles, you say motor cars as well. I know you have assembling plants in Ghana, so this may be reasonable. You can say to people, go get it from this car, government is doing A, B, C, D. But what about the items that are simply not available and we need to import them to shore up what we have locally? How are you going to deal with that? Because you need to deal with production before you can ban, not ban, but prevent importation, no?
I appreciate that. But that's the point I've been making. I've been stressing this one since you called me. I said that we're going to monitor. You gave me the word. Monitor the gap between production and consumption. So, for example, the sugar business, if we monitor and the understanding is that there's so much deficit of production, quite clearly, you're not going to prevent any importers from bringing in sugar.
But you need to tell this to a committee. I think it's obvious, isn't it, that you only import because there's a demand for it. Why do I have to go justify before a bureaucratic committee?
That's not entirely true. But in any event, talking about Commander sugar, I would implore you to find a ringside seat in Parliament on Tuesday, because I'll be talking about this Commander factory debacle on Tuesday. So make sure that it's covered live. We see the rot that has gone in there, which is really making Commander sugar factory a difficulty. And the last time I said an albatross. I think I intend to give a lot more details on Tuesday to the listening public. But back to your point. It is true that people bring it in because there is a shortage. Is there artificial shortage? Is there anything we can do about? Is there incentive that we can do? We can give, for example, to the Commander sugar factories of Ghana, other sugar factories. Is there anything? It's all going to be a balancing exercise. We do not want necessarily to abruptly curtail activities or imports or any kind. At the same time, it is intended to help the economy to develop at home and, of course, also to conserve some of our foreign.
Prior to preparing this LI, did government, and for that matter, your ministry, do any groundwork? Which groundwork suggested that? And it suggested that there's a possibility that we have artificial shortage and not necessarily real shortage on the ground, for which reason we should regulate the imports?
We're all over the place. I can assure you, some of the items on the list were even suggested by those who were actually involved, the producers, all of them. They were involved. And so there was a massive consultation before we arrived at the decision to come out with the airline.
But the issue of artificial, are you just suspecting that there may be artificial shortage, or you actually know that there's artificial shortage on the market?
It wouldn't annul to anybody's disadvantage. This is a law. We appreciate that in the end we don't produce enough. We are also conscious of the fact that we don't intend to create shortage. Let it run its course. If at the end of the day you think that nothing changes and that everybody can bring in anything and nothing changes, so be it. But if in course of the practical implementation of the LI, it becomes very clear, and I've given you the underlying reasons for that. First, to encourage some local production so that Commander Sugar Factory, for example, could be running. Other sugar factories should be running. And of course, I've also indicated to you things about the rice industry, the poultry industry, if in the end they are up and kicking, it's a little bit more production in the country because of this policy. You see, we would have changed something to aid or boost economic development of the country.
If it is not broken, you don't fix it. It appears that the minority side, at least in Parliament, thinks that this LI is not even clear, and that's why you have been asked to go and converse with them further and explain to them what you really want to do before you lay it. That's one point. The second point is that you're going
to deal with this point.
Okay.
I thought, well, make a note. I should make a note, or you will make a note.
You go ahead and respond to it then, so that I can develop the question further.
No, that's not what I hear people talking about. The speaker ordering that we should go and consult. That's actually not happened. My colleagues sometimes play foul. They really do play foul. The status of allies, the status is very clear. The status of allies very clear in the Constitution. Constitution has determined the way that bills are laid in Parliament for their consideration and passage into Act of Parliament. The Constitution has also mandated how allies are laid and how they mature into law. I am under, and for that matter, any minister laying an ally is under no restriction, any mandate, statutory or constitutional. To consult with anyone on the any side of the house, and the speaker, for that matter, has no input into this matter. When it is laid, the Constitution makes it very clear. If Parliament and is referred to the subsidiary committee, if the committee is unhappy with it, it then marshals 2/3 of members of Parliament to annul it. If there is no such annulment, 21 days, it becomes law. But there has been some convention which has been mistaken, which is actually been misconstrued. But there has been a convention for a very particular reason why they have what they call pre-playing, consultation with the Subsidiary Legislation Committee of Parliament. But I did that. I mean, on the Monday or Tuesday, when we tried to lay it, there was this sort of banter, and I explained all this to the House. Then Second Deputy wondered if I could still go and debate with my colleagues. And in fairness, we are friends, we are colleagues. So I attended to the committee, and I've got their report. They are happy. I mean, it is very clear in clear, very crystal terms clear that, well, they are happy. One or two amendments, other than that, is clear, and that we should take it up. I mean, I wanted to do it yesterday. I was told that they still want to do one or two consultations. Consultations of no constitutional or statutory validity they want to do, but I should hold my hands. I did. And then I tried to win today again today, and there was a brouhaha all over the place. But we have problems. So you may have problems. Your problems may not necessarily be the problems of the entire Ghanaian population. I mean, this is the government of the day which wants to do something that is constitutionally mandated. It is constitutionally mandated. The Supreme Court is ruled very clearly on this matter. It is only the person who proposes and lays it who has the power given by the Constitution to amend, to withdraw, to do whatever. Parliament's role is to scrutinize it. If you are not happy with it, by 2/3 majority, annul it. Other than that, 21 days, it's law. So this whole business are
but if the speaker doesn't admit, you cannot lay, correct?
Well, the speaker doesn't have the authority not to admit. We should be careful about the authority of the House, you know. If the speaker as a leader of the House, as majority side of the government comes to Parliament and proposes to lay something, unless of course it's unconstitutional. The speaker doesn't do that. Now,
but that's what happened today. He asked you to go and do your homework.
No, that is not what happened. You went there. You have been misinformed. The speaker was very clear that colleagues and members of Parliament, we all do know the status of this under the Constitution. He told them very clear. But okay, but my minority side is complaining, so leadership, what do you want to do? You want to confer or something? That is how he left it to us to decide on what to do. The speaker did not mandate us to do that because he didn't. Because under the Constitution, it is clear, I lay it, and then it is referred to the committee. He knows it. Listen, the speaker has been there he was in Parliament for over 28 or so years, and now the speaker, he understands this thing. Okay. So he did not mandate me to do that.
So what happens next? Are you going to meet the minority before you attempt to lay maybe tomorrow, or you're going to ignore and just try to lay?
As I said, I have met with them, and we were in the conclave for about 5 hours.
Today?
The other day. Yeah, no, 3-4 days ago.
No, I'm talking about today. I'm thinking the speaker made a pronouncement today.
It was risky. No. The speaker didn't know this part of it because there were other matters we were discussing. I didn't want to go into all of this. The speaker didn't know about this, so I'm going to show him this tomorrow. The speaker didn't know that we've actually met and there's a report. And those who got up to speak were only being mischievous.
But if there was a conclave and you came to a conclusion, and yet the minority leader on behalf of his group raise an objection, which objection led to your LI being put on ice, then it means you really did not get to a conclusion. And so there may be a need for you to return to meet them.
You are not probably listening to the other part of it. I'm saying that there was some mischief. There was mischief.
I get you, but I'm saying because he's a minority leader,
he may be the minority leader, but on this matter, he has no authority, much the same way as the speaker doesn't have any authority.
I get you.
If but for by reference to the speaker, I decided that I wanted it laid. The speaker could not say don't lay because it doesn't lie in his bosom because of the provisions or the imperative of the Constitution to have stopped lay. He couldn't have done that. But because he didn't even realize that there has already been this consultation for about 5 hours, and that they have actually produced a report, a copy of which I have, I thought, okay, that's fine. Just go and explain to him. And the leadership, the leadership, they want to meet Atu and others. Because I, 3 days ago, met with all of them and they reported to Atu and the leadership. Whatever happened today, I have no clue. But somehow I was told that, well, they were having some change of mind or something. They could have changed of mind. They do not dictate when a particular document is laid before Parliament or not.
When would you attempt next to lay it?
Tomorrow.
Okay, and so it means that you're just going to show to the speaker that this is a report of my earlier meeting with them. They are just simply...
And that in that report has complete agreement. There's nothing wrong with what he's doing.
Okay.
So 1 or 2 of them have to say they won't agree. What is that they are talking about?
I'll take
some infighting among themselves, but that's their own headache.
I'll take a front seat as well tomorrow and see if you would succeed in laying. But finally,
of this one,
yes. Before Tuesday,
yeah.
I would want to come and watch what happens tomorrow. But finally,
I think we should also be there for Tuesday. It's important.
Yes. I hope there will be sugar coming out of the factory. That's what you'll be announcing to us on Tuesday.
More than what do you call it? It was the twin brother or sister of sugar as well. The honey, there will be a lot of honey out there.
But one is dry and one is wet.
Yeah, take your point.
On the committee that you are going to set up, if this LI becomes law, is it not going to be a bureaucracy which is also going to be a political tool that will be used to prevent people from importing? For instance, there's an MPP Minister of Trade. Do you have a role in approving or rejecting what someone wants to import? And how do you deal with the possibility of a politician, businessman saying that he has been prevented by the Ministry of Trade and the Minister of Trade from importing product A or B because of his colorization politically? How would you deal with that?
They won't say that. They won't have need to say that. There's a committee, broad-based committee, and whatever the minister does is based on the recommendation of the committee. And then one the full capudo of it, is that when you are not happy, you go to court.
Okay, if
legal adjudication.
But the final decision would be issued by the minister or the chairman of the committee?
No, the final decision on this matter, as I said, is for the court.
No, I mean, before going to seek for redress, where do you first get your permit from? Is it the chairman of the committee or the minister for trade?
No, it's not from the chairman of the committee. It's from the committee.
Fine. So it is from the committee, not the minister.
No, minister.
Okay.
Minister ultimately just agrees to whatever it is that the committee has agreed on.
All right. Great.
It is when it comes to some other matters, that's the certificate and whatever, your license or whatever, and we really are getting into some nefarious activities that the minister really stamps his authority by way of revocations and all sorts of things.
All right.
But on the face of it, minister doesn't have. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for speaking to us.
Thank you very much.
That's the Member of Parliament for Adansia Square, Minister for Trade and Industry, Honorable Citi Hammond.